and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make clothing in Blender. A year ago I made a video how to make clothes in Blender. I also got some comments asking me how to make clothing if your mesh isn't like perfectly retopologized. So I'll show you that here as well. And you can download this jacket for free on my Gumroad and Patreon. So check that out. For this I've just sculpted something very quickly. And the topology looks something like this. A lot of vertices. A lot of ugly misaligned quads and also like triangles in the mix. So that's something we need to fix. And to do that we need to do some retopology so we can actually make our model. So to do that, normally I would just hit Shift A and then add in a plane. And then tab into edit mode and delete 3 of these vertices with X. And then snap the selection to cursor. So we have just one vertex here. And now I just move it up until it's somewhere like here. Doesn't really matter where it needs to be. And then what I do is I go over to this magnet, I enable this, and then I click the drop down and select face project. And now if I hit G, my vertex will snap to the mesh, as you can see. And now if I hit extrude, this will snap to the mesh as well. And this is all based on your like a viewport camera. So where you are looking. If I have it like this, it's going to be a lot harder to get it to align properly. So keep that in mind. Alright, so I'm going to start with just one vertex. And I want to place it kind of in the middle at the start of my jacket. And then turn on the mirror modifier right here. Set this to the axis you want to mirror on. So for me that will be the x-axis. And now it will just mirror everything you do. We just want to do this for one side since that will be easier. And basically what you want to do is just extrude and make quads. So like here I will like trace the color and have something like this, and then just select these vertices and hit F to make a plane. And now you have some cleaner topology, and just do this all around the mesh until you have a nice retopologized mesh. Try to keep this very low poly like I'm doing here. This is super low poly. And just extrude these edges. You can refine this later. Just keep it very rough and try to keep like these quads as square as possible. That will just be easier later on with like subdivision. This might be hard in certain spots, but it's doable. I've done this before. It works pretty well. Alright, so now if we go back into object mode, we can see the outline a little bit clearer. And now we have like a, let's see, turn on statistics. You have 8 faces for this color instead of like the thousands we had here, as you can see. So that's just great. And just do this for the entire mesh. This is not going to be a retopology video, but just an introduction. So for example, you might do something like this, like go with the flow, with the edge flow. And then just extrude until you get to the end. For some tricky parts like the shoulder where you need to kind of branch out, like we need some more topology here, because otherwise with like 2 faces we're not going to make it to the bottom here. So for that I just like to kind of keep it straight down like this, and then just extrude a extra edge and kind of make a quad here. So you have some extra topology for the shoulder and then an extra one here as well. And then you can do that as much as you want. And it's kind of like breaking up one face or like one edge into 2 edges. There are also some retopology guides you can follow. I'll leave some on the screen, or you can just search for it, like for the torso. And that's basically what you do. And then when you've done that, you can delete everything and then you can work on your retopologized mesh. So for me, that looks something like this, where I have a lot of these, this nice topology. I think it was like one subdivision before this, so maybe something like this, but then without this weird stuff going on. And then I just subdivided it once to kind of keep it smooth. And now I want to add in like a subdivision surface modifier to keep it nice and clean like this, maybe even 2. I think 1 is fine because we already subdivided it once. And then what I like to do is just go into sculpt mode, and for some stylization, just grab the crease brush right here. And hit Control and kind of add these creases in just to add some details. You can resize your brush by pressing F and then sliding your mouse. And then you might need to change the strength. So with control, you can add in a crease. And what I like to do is just kind of from the arms, I would like to kind of keep it smooth to the bottom like this. Something like this, maybe a little bit less intense. And then at the back, the creases normally go from like the top here of your neck down to the sides. Don't do this on the other side as well, that will look weird. Just adding in some randomness. That's what really helped with my jacket. And then add in a solidify modifier so it actually has some geometry. You don't have to do this, but for like a standalone prop, it will be nice. But in a character model, you definitely don't have to do that. But yeah, once I have something like this, I want to export this as an OBJ file and then bring it into Substance Painter. And then we are just going to texture it. Then for texturing in Substance Painter, I just grab the default leather material. I also downloaded one from Ambient CG, which is a really great website, which has some free assets for Substance Painter. You can also find some free textures on my Gumroad, and I also have the SPSAR available on there. And with the curve tool, I can easily add in these stitches on my leather jacket, which was a really cool tool to use. It works perfectly. There's no fiddling around, it just works right away. And I just did that for all of the seams I had in my mesh for the UV unwrapping, which is also where the normal seams of our jacket would be. I did the same for the zipper, just adding in a curve in the middle and then just getting a texture along that curve. And then I could add in the end of the zippers there. And that was basically it for like the big details. And then for the small details, I just added in a lot of masks, added in some scratches, added in some stitches, just looked at references of how leather jackets looks when they are weathered, and then just used that. And this is the final result. As I said, this is available on my Patreon or on my Gumroad. But I would also appreciate if you support me on Patreon. So I hope this video helped. If it did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Alright, the video is not at 8 minutes yet. I haven't had an 8-minute video in like the past month, so I'm just going to show you the Ambient CG website. I think that's a little bit more fair than just leaving it blank the last 30 seconds. So on ambientcg.com, you can find a whole bunch of SPSARs and textures for free. These are all CC0, so you can use them for free anywhere. And you have things like this moss or grass. You can download this as an SPSAR, which basically means that it was procedurally made in Substance Designer, and then you can use it in Substance Painter procedurally and change some parameters to get a different output. As you can see here, these are divided up into 4 parts, and these are used by these texture assets. So these are basically like the exports. Find some materials here, some HDRIs, SPSARs, also some 3D models, so some food if you want. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Double video, I guess, and I'll see you in the next one.